Good evening and welcome to the ndtv Dialogues, a conversation of ideas. The big idea we are focusing on this week, not just us on the program, but Prime Minister Modi and his government, which India is focusing on this week, is Digital India. Will this be a game changer for how India is governed, for how citizens access government services? Can it be, as some in the BJP have said, an antidote to poverty and corruption? Joining me tonight on that is the man in charge, the Minister, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. I'll also be joined by a special panel right after that with Mr. Milind Deora, former Minister of State for Information, for IT and Telecom. I'm also joined by Mr. Arvind Bali, CEO of Videocon Telecom, Pranesh Prakash, Centre for Internet and Society, and Sanjay Kaul of the BJP. Do you see, Mr. Bali, because in that sense, I think Pranesh is right that while the UPA may have done many of these things in bits and pieces, the difference here is that there's an attempt to bring it together under one vision and to make it a national process or transformational idea of governance. Do you think that's a big game changer? And as a corporate, do you find it hard sometimes having to be going from applauding what the UPA did to going to applauding what the NDA did? Can you express yourself freely on what you think are the real challenges? Do you find it hard sometimes because you're actually dealing with small towns that we talk about all this grand vision, but what about the actual issue of connectivity in smaller towns of India? How will you actually have 2.5 lakh village panchayats hooked up under this? Yeah.
Personally, I've been always a very big fan of Mr. Narendra Modi, and in last 3-4 days, I'm really impressed. First of all, the way Digital India function was conducted, the granularity of that, and then yesterday our minister conducted a roundtable of all the CEOs. The way he heard each and every CEO and specifically, and then the way he wrapped up the whole thing, he understand it very, very well. So,
of course, Mr. Deora says don't get carried away by packaging.
No, that's right.
I agree. The launch event was a grand event and full points to the government for that event.
Full point. And you're as a CEO, he's a CEO of this country. As a CEO, when he gives a focus on something, the whole country, whole energy, gets analyzed towards that. So that was a very, very good initiative. Now, from industry point of view, we appreciate everything what good happens. Even in UPA government, after those licenses were cancelled, I think there was a lot of mess. The way Mr. Sibbal and Milind and all these people, they sorted out everything. They heard the industry, they sorted out everything. Was really commendable. And we off late, we were really commending the way everything was conducted. And definitely Digital India, the way we are talking, it is not something, which has started on Wednesday.
But right? How will the hurdles be overcome? And as I said, you faced many of those hurdles firsthand. Yeah. What would you like to see as a corporate on faster movement on overcoming hurdles?
I think Rome was not built in a day. It is there are so many issues which has to be, over a period has to be overcome. This nation, because of our democracy, has got its own issues. Everybody is free to do whatever they want to do. For example, Milind is aware about that. Center thinks that this is the way rollout should take place. This is the way, things should happen. But then state has got their own authority. For example, we talked about tower, but the biggest thing which is going to be required now is right of way, putting the fiber. Now, Digital India means, everything will be on data. That means every village, every town, every house has to be connected through fiber. Now, for that, you need right of way. Now, every state has got its own rules. Yes. In Mumbai, they will charge a very, very big amount. Somebody will not give you clearances. We do roll out in Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, all those places. Within the cities, you will not get the permission. And if you will not get the permission, if you don't lay the fiber, it is not going to happen. And without that, there is no way you can provide that. And there are enough data, enough proof, the only way this country will progress is through digitalization, it is through this. There are statistics which tells that if our broadband penetration increases by 10%, our GDP will increase by 1.38%. Right? That is very, very well established. So only thing I think country is, and Modi Sahib is actually giving a right focus that if you can make this country digital, then you will actually see a progress of everybody.